Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked. And if I get everything uploaded correctly, Happy New Year. It should be 2024 by the time this video goes up. So here's to a fantastic year of gaming and everything else. But Brad and I are going to be doing our top 20 anticipated games for 2024. And this is going to be a little bit more kind of like off the cuff kind of thing. We don't have like a PowerPoint or anything. I actually just have BGG pulled up so we can try and pull them up. As with every anticipated game, there may be more information than not on some games, and then some games might not have anything but a concept. Although I will say for my list, there should be quite a bit of content for every single one of these.
Me too.
Now when it gets to like later on, like there might be like just an idea or something. But as what I do with every anticipated list, I go through my 2023 and I find what games didn't come out.
Yep.
And then some of them I didn't though. Some of them I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. This game is like not coming out ever. So I just quit being, excited about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with an honorable mention with my number 21. And this game is a little bit of it seems like a concept kind of game. It was on my probably anticipated for 2023. And I'm intrigued to see how it goes because the company for it has one game out right now and they're basically remaking it or updating it to make it better. So this game is called Mythwind. So I don't know how this game isn't out. It's like, oh my God, 7.1. I've never played it. Yeah, Open Owl Studios is the company, and their game that's out is Stars of Ikarios, which had basically completely ripped off Gloomhaven and Seventh Continent, but in space. They are updating that so it has just better gameplay, better rule book, and things like that. But what did work in Stars of Ikarios worked really well. And Mythwind, yeah, they describe it as a cooperative and solo cozy board game with unique characters. It's supposed to be just kind of like what they mean by cozy is that it's just kind of open-ended. There's no conclusion. Like it's supposed to just kind of be a game that you live in and you experience and you explore and interact with. It's supposed to have like moving pieces like whenever you're not playing. Yeah, progress can be made easily saved with game trays. I'm extremely curious on the concept of this game. I think that this could work really well. There's another game of this similar vein that did come out in 2023 called Earthborn Rangers, this kind of very passive and peaceful exploration game. So yeah, I imagine that this will not be best of 2 or 3. I feel like that this is probably way better solo.
Yeah.
Don't know even how it has a best of 2 or 3 because it's not out. So yeah, like this could make or break the game though, because if it's like constantly going with no definitive end, then how are people meant to just kind of really experience it?
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's why it's my honorable mention, just because I'm very intrigued by this game, but don't really know how it plays or anything other than that. So that's my number 21.
My honorable mention is a game I just saw advertised probably 2-3 weeks ago.
Tiny Epic Game of Thrones.
No. I wouldn't have given it much of a second look, but it's from a company that I enjoy their stuff, Thunderworks Games. And then it adds a interesting theme that I really, really like. and this game is called Metro Runner.
Metro Runner.
It's all one word, but I don't think
Dang
it matters.
it.
But anyway, it is
Mm.
you're a hacker. It just kind of takes that whole net runner thing, because I was big in the net runner. So you're a runner. I mean, they're even using some of those terms.
Yeah.
And it's a competitive worker movement and resource collection game. And it's kind of like it says, it has a tile puzzle mini game. There isn't a whole lot of gameplay pictures of this. This one was just announced, like I said, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know a ton about it, but I like Thunderworks games,
Hmm.
and I like the theme of that.
Yeah.
So when I first saw this, before I started reading the deal, I was like, shit, is somebody bringing Netrunner back? Because when you see that Metro Runner, it's like, shit, is somebody actually doing it?
Yeah.
But then I started reading about it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, like dang it.
But yeah, I mean, it's one I definitely want to give a shot to, because I really like Thunderworks game stuff for the most part. The only game I don't really care for of Thunderworks was that jail one.
Oh, Lockup.
Yeah, and then Dawn of Ulos, I never really gave it much of a second look to. It may be a good game, but
I saw it at Gen Con, not this year, but last year, and I was like, eh.
yeah.
And then Tyranny Parks. Tyranny Parks. Tenpenny Parks was like,
Yeah.
this is good. And then you play it a second time, you're like, yeah, never mind.
Well, it needs an expansion. But
Yeah.
but anyway, like if you look at the cover art of this game, I mean, it even looks like Netrunner. I mean, some of the art you'd see like a Netrunner.
I mean, come on, man. It looks like every single cyberpunk thing that's out
Well, no,
there.
I know, but I mean, I just get that vibe. Like
Yeah.
they're really pulling from Netrunner, like the look
This
and
is like
stuff.
Vincent Dutrait art a little bit.
I can't remember who the artist is on this,
Not
but
quite as cell shaded or
his
whatever, but
artist is Ignacio Bazan Lazcano.
okay.
But anyway, this is one that I want to keep an eye out for, because of the company's history and then the theme.
Yeah, a worker placement, resource collection game, the tile puzzle mini game. Yeah, I just added it to my anticipated to take a look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much Thunderworks games for me is like more role player. No,
Right.
never mind.
Yeah. So we'll see. It may be dog shit, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right. Now, my number 20 is a game that I mean, most of these are big games I've backed off Kickstarter, if not every single one of them. Is it every single one of them? Oh my God, it is. All of my games are fucking crowdfunded.
A lot of mine are. A lot.
Which is fair, because that's what we're going to know the most of. Like
Yeah.
most people aren't announcing games until the year that they're coming out, or they just show up. But yeah, so my number 20 is a game that's actually being designed by a company that doesn't make board games. But man, is the presentation and storage solution going to be amazing, because this is Forsaken, made by Game Trays.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this last year.
Yeah, so this one is actually, thank God, not a narrative-driven campaign, but it has that. Like, it's a space western kind of game that does have storytelling elements, but they're not. It's all condensed into actually one game. But they have, yeah, all the board and the like market and areas you go to are all in these actual trays, which makes sense. So everything is nicely compacted and stored. They utilize for combat this dice tray, which is done from another couple games, like Dead Reckoning uses a dice tray or a cube tray for your combat. This kind of does a similar thing. You have your own character. Let's see if they have a character picture. Oh, they don't. As I can see, this will have to do then. But yeah, every person is playing a character that is also again in these nice storage trays with personal objectives to go after, a unique special ability, an item holder, cube holder. I'm just really intrigued by this because there's not a whole lot of like space westerns, at least not in this kind of sense. So yeah, sandbox adventure game where you take the role of a character looking to leave their mark on the harshest of worlds. Every character has a personalized branching story, but as far as I am aware, that's done throughout the game. Like it's not like, oh, over the course of 50 different scenarios as a one and done, game's done, you've done your branching narrative thing, which is will be a very nice change of pace if you can play a certain character and have your own different branching stories depending on the decisions you make, but it's all done in one sitting. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I like the way that the items work, special abilities. Just really like the theming, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this game officially plays, but I do remember seeing it actually at Gen Con this year, and I think the game trays concept of having all that stuff organized like that, like your market of items to buy and all that will be very nice and pristine.
Yeah.
So that's my number 20, Forsaken.
All right. My number 20 is a game that I thought about backing. I didn't end up backing it, but I probably will pick it up at retail if it goes there. It got a lot of hate because it used AI art. So there was a big debate on whether
Oh yeah,
it was
that
like,
is a huge
oh,
thing though.
AI, all that stuff. And it's a competitive theme park game called Theme Park Mania. And it's one of those that yeah. It just looks really cool on the table, like when you're looking at different pictures of like a theme park, you're building your paths. This one to me really gets close to resembling like Roller Coaster Tycoon, like as far as building the paths and doing cleaning up trash and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it I'm a sucker for I like theme park games, and I know my wife does too. So
Yeah.
this is one that I had thought about backing initially. Like I said, I didn't end up picking up right off the bat, but it kind of looks like it would be one that would be interesting. It doesn't have it when I say a minimalist, I'm not meaning, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the board, but it doesn't have like, it's just tiles and cubes for the most part.
Is this
It's
like, do we know, is this like a central board that everyone plays on?
I think everybody builds on the theme.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I don't know like what the so they contribute to it says together all 2 to 4 players contribute to build the greatest theme
Okay.
park ever during the first phase. So with the cash earned, each player can buy rides and facilities to connect them. I think that's what those cubes are. I bet you
Oh, okay.
probably built those rides. And if it says the first player to visit all rides will end the game directly. So I
Okay.
mean, it's one of those things. There's another theme park game that just kind of went around too that I kind of hauled around about that one or this one. So we'll see how it goes,
Yeah.
but this one looks like might be one to try out as long
I
as
know.
it doesn't get knocked around because of all the AI hate.
Sure. Yeah, and who knows if I mean, if they came out and said we're using AI art, then, well, there
They,
you go.
I think they did. I think they did on the
Oh, okay.
on the page. I think they had said they were doing that,
Gotcha.
but
Yeah, theme park rides, theme park games I am also always intrigued by, but they always end up falling flat in
yeah,
one way or another. So
yep.
we'll see.
Figure one of them will stick at some point. So
Yeah. All right. My number 19 is a game that actually will probably be delivering here very quickly. As far as I know, I think it's actually at distribution centers or it's getting very close. I imagine January or February is whenever I'll get my stuff, hopefully. And this is the next game of a series of a skirmish game that I really enjoy, but now I'm getting everything for it, and that is Mythic Battles Ragnarok, which is actually super fun and good timing because my wife and I just finished the original God of War trilogy.
Mhm.
So we just got through the Greek pantheon and now we started the God of War 2018. So now we're in Norse. So I'm all in that headspace.
Yeah.
And I don't know actually how well Ragnarok did for Kickstarter. Like versus Pantheon, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm not sure.
Because which one do you like better? Norse or Greek mythology?
If I had to choose, like taking all the game elements out of it, just looking at the mythology of it, Greek
Greek.
would
Okay.
be my one. Yeah, because I studied that a lot more, Greek
Gotcha.
and Egyptian.
Okay,
But
so 1.5 Mythic Battles Pantheon, 1.5 had $1.1 million. Mythic Battles Ragnarok. Ragnarok did campaign 2.4. So relatively close to each other.
I'd say with that other one being a 1.5, because if you
Yeah, so let's look at
because a
the
lot of people would have,
OG.
yeah,
2.6. Okay, so between both of them, they actually made the same amount. And here's what's great. Fuck this company forever. Um, Mythic Battles they should just not even be allowed to function anymore. But what's great is this got picked up by Monolith, and that's actually all that's showing.
mhm.
So that's how I'm comfortable about getting all my stuff. But yeah, what's fantastic about this is I love this game. I typically don't love skirmish games, but this one really nails it. And I love the fact that, yeah, they just have so many gods and characters and boards and scenarios to play, and that they're interchangeable where you can combine them. It's gonna be so much plastic, so much stuff coming my way. Um, for it all. But uh yeah, it's gonna be great. And then they've already announced that once this entire thing is done, they're going to Egypt.
That'd be awesome.
So that'll be definitely unique. But they announced that they're not gonna launch that until everyone gets their pledges here. Um but yeah. I mean, so if you're not familiar with Mythic Battles, yeah, skirmish game where you play, each side has a god and minions and heroes that are all on one team, and you're trying to either kill the opposing god or get in the Pantheon one, I think it was called I don't remember, the Oliphant stones or whatever. I don't think it was Oliphant, but there was a secondary way to actually win the game. And I don't quite know what new stuff they're adding into Ragnarok. I know that there's going to be new mechanisms, but yep,
Yep.
very excited for this one. Perfect timing too, starting the new God of War.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my number 19, Mythic Battles Ragnarok.
My number 19 is it's a second edition of a game and an expansion that was a project in itself, and it because a new company bought the original of this, so they did some changes and streamlined the game, and then also added a expansion to it, and that's Dungeons of Infinity. And then the expansion is Kingdom Cost.
Kingdom Cost.
So but yeah, they changed up the original version of this game quite a bit to make it more story driven and just
to make it fun.
Cool. Yeah. Because I think the publisher that had it first was called Infinity and More.
Okay.
And then Sky Kingdom Games of Icefarian Guard fame bought this and redid this, and it looks badass. If you go to the Dungeons of Infinity and look at those pictures, like the player boards that pop up initially at the bottom, like, yeah, those are they're recessed, and so they have the slots that you're putting your in stuff in there. Your ability tracks and all that stuff go. They use game trays, of course.
Mhm.
And then so it's kind of like it's an interesting kind of a dungeon dive kind of game, but then and it's a randomized dungeon also. But
Okay.
the Kingdom Cost expansion, it just adds more. It adds a couple more heroes, and some new bad guys you fight, just different stuff. There's a new dungeon lord, um, a new 18 dungeon mini campaign. So it's just
Okay.
more
Oh, it's a
stuff.
camp. Dungeons of Infinity is a campaign.
It is now. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
first. That's they changed it and made it more stuff. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're using a foreteller thing for
Ooh.
Dungeons of Infinity
Okay.
as well, I believe. So yeah, I mean it's it's going to be a cool one, especially after seeing what they did with Icefarian Guard and how
Yeah.
detail oriented they are and how they will listen to their people. I think this is something. It's taken a while for this game to come out. It backed quite a while ago, but they really are meticulous in getting stuff balanced right and play tested and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
okay with a game taking a long time to come out if it's going to come out and be the best version of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like
So
I mean there's so many fucking games to play. Like
right,
as long as it delivers, and if it delivers and it's like, "Oh man, this is amazing," then everyone forgets about how long it took. It's
right.
usually like, "Oh, you took 4 years and you're an average game."
Well, and
Then
they're getting close to delivering. I mean, not like super close, but I mean they're like, I think they're done, pretty much done with production, and they're getting ready to start actually making the shit now.
cool.
So yeah, I
I
mean
want to
it's
try this whenever you get it.
oh yeah, for sure. It is it's going to be top notch. I really looked into this quite a bit when the project was up, because I
Mhm.
just, you know, wanted to see how it went. But the project itself, um, I mean, the Sky Kingdom Kickstarter for this raised $300,000, so not like gangbusters or anything. It
Yeah, they
probably
weren't breaking the bank.
Well, it would probably do more now that Icefarian Guard's out and people know it, because this campaign
True.
happened while Icefarian Guard was still being made. So when you go in and you look at all that stuff, but yeah, it's pretty sweet, and it's going to be high quality stuff, and miniatures look nice
Yeah.
as well. So yeah,
Yeah. What? Cool. Good
that's
deal.
my number 19.
All right. My number 18, I think you ended up staying away from this Kickstarter or Game Found, whatever we call them now. Game Founder. Uh they I originally was going to as well because it is based off an IP, but I'm not familiar with this IP. But it was a nice change of pace because obviously I lean way more fantasy. Like high fantasy or dark fantasy is where like I really like to reside. But every now and then I like to change it up, and I watch the gameplay of this and I'm like, this could be a really fun game, and I really like the company. Um, so that is Stalker, the board
Interesting.
game.
I ended up not backing it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I was intrigued for a little bit.
Yeah, so this is going to be another narrative-driven campaign. You'll see a running theme with mine. My channel is basically reviews and Kent series at this point, um, which is fine because I've always kind of wanted my channel to have a Let's Play kind of feel, or at least that's what it merged into. But this is by Awakened Realms. I'm actually not familiar with this designer. Did he do? Oh, he did ISS Vanguard. I should be getting all my ISS Vanguard stuff next year as well because I stupidly did the one shipment instead of
Yeah.
split shipment. So I'm like, where's my fucking game? And they're like, yeah, you gotta wait for everything. But that's gearing up to ship. Anyway, so Stalker is a kind of metro theme, post-apocalyptic, um, where yeah, you just had to deal with hazmat suits and uh are it actually uses guns and things like that, and line of sight elements.
Mhm.
But the gameplay that I watched on it actually had you, because it says tactical combat, which is like that sometimes means nothing in board games. But this one was actually, it utilizes noise and drawing attention and facing, like you would in a video game where it's like, okay, well, they're facing away from me, so now we can sneak up behind them. But if we run past, it's going to draw noise over there, which means they're going to start to turn around and start moving that way. Similar a little bit to what Reichbusters did back when Mythic Games wasn't, gutter trash. Um, this one utilizes that in a very interesting way, and the way that the storytelling is done seems to also be kind of objective based. Like the opening scenario felt like you had to go rescue a guy, but you can do extra stuff which would add more narrative elements. Very intrigued to see how this goes. Um, for the most part, I mean, I know Etherfields I completely fell off, but the dream portion of it was really good. But Tainted Grail, Nemesis, other Awakened Realms games, they typically do insanely good with their storytelling, and their writing is usually really good. I don't know for ISS Vanguard yet, even though I've only heard good things. Very excited to see how Stalker works. Funny enough, there's like nothing on this. This is like the most bare bones Board Game Geek page. It's like you don't even have a picture. Oh, hey, here we go. Why wasn't that
Yeah, it wasn't.
weird?
Oh, it wasn't popping up there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how this plays out, the way that the board is going to be displayed, which I think is tiles and stuff, and then what you have to manage in terms of, yeah, hit locations and inventory. I think this could be a lot of fun. So, and in
The
a completely different setting.
the cards kind of have that look of their first game. The This War of Mine.
Thank you. That's another one. Another
Yeah, like
game by Awakened Realms.
the cards and the font kind of remind me of This War of Mine a little bit.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, it makes sense with the theme a little bit. So it does say it's best, and yeah, it looks like you might have to deal with like radiation, which you have to deal with. I don't know if you've ever played the Metro games.
No, but I want to play
Okay,
this one. There's a new version of this game getting ready to come out in 2024, a or a video game.
video game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna play it, I'm sure, because it's supposed to come to Game Pass.
Oh,
Uh,
neat. All right.
yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, that is my number 18, Stalker, the board game.
All right, my number 18 is a game that I went back and forth and back and forth on whether I wanted to back it or not. I ended up not backing it. I ended up missing the late backing window for it. I know you backed it, so I'll probably play yours at some point.
Nope, you missed your window.
And I didn't back it because I had such a strong reaction of dislike towards the game that came out right before this, and that was Destinies.
Oh,
So this one is the Dark Quarter. And it's one I probably should have backed, just to give it a shot because of having the Van Ryder Games addition to it, because they were handling the story aspect, like the theme and the story, because they do good with that stuff.
mm-hmm.
I ended up not doing it, but I'm sure I'll
so
get it.
excited for this setting though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I don't think I had like as much spare money at that point to back a lot of, I had to make choices, and that was the one that kind of fell because Destinies was just that.
According to
not
literally
great.
everyone, it's the best game ever made.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Well, they barely played it.
well, the thing is I played it solo, and if you, like I said before, not to rehash it all, but if I can sit there and play a solo game and I forget to have moved my meeple or my miniature for like 5 turns because it's all on the app, it's like, why am I even setting up the board game? I just play it on.
Yeah, sometimes Lucky Duck is too good with the app. Here's the thing, because I'm also excited for this one. I think because again, same thing. Destinies did not work for me at all, but what made me interested in Dark Quarter is this right here. The fact that it's fully cooperative.
Yeah.
That's what made Destiny's annoying. Was it
Mhm.
was semi, but no, it wasn't. It was like it was competitive,
It
and
was
it was
competitive,
just
yeah.
ugh. Yeah, this being fully cooperative, I think will work really well in its favor.
Yeah. So I'll get it played, whether it's yours, whether I get another copy secondhand or whatever. But it's definitely one that I want
Hmm
to try out,
And as far as
because
I can tell, I don't know if it says it on here, but I think at least on their Game Found thing, I think it's meant to be a lot more adult
oh yeah,
themed.
yeah, I think that's the case. I've heard that as well. Um
So,
and this was one because I always liked Van Ryder games, but this Kickstarter happened before I started really liking Van Ryder games because
gotcha.
I like Final Girl. Um,
Hmm
and this was something that I know. I think the first Final Girl I think had kickstarted before this. Um,
Uh,
and
dude,
I had
I'd probably say season 2 was out
really
before this one on Kicks. I think so. But you
um
haven't played their detective game either, which Van
yeah.
Ryder
Well,
kills.
I did play, what was that called? Detective City of Angels.
Yeah.
I did play it once.
Oh, you have played
I
it? Oh, okay.
actually did play it. It was well after this funded though. I played because Chad
Sure.
has it, and I played his.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, it's a one that we'll definitely try to see if it's
All
one that
right.
you know.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this one also. All right. My number 17 is a game that I actually have played prior to it going on Kickstarter. They were nice enough to send me a demo copy, and I so I have a friend that I game with, and he doesn't back a lot of games, but this one he went in for, and and he's 100% convinced that this is going to kill Dominion for him. Even just playing the prototype, he's like, there's no reason for me to play Dominion after this. And I can kind of see where he's coming from. This game is really, really good. I am very excited for it, and that is Chemical Overload. So, um, Chemical Overload is a game about making potions from various ingredients. So really what you're doing is you're getting these ingredients here um, to then get into your hand to be able to create potions. You have to have these flasks already that will fit. So like, and all the art on it even fits the theme or fits the flask that it's going into. So like, I can't zoom in anymore, but this potion here to make that, it requires a level 1 red, a level 1 green, and a level 2 flask, and you have to have that available to have this go into your deck. So the potion making, I think, is really well done. They include a bunch of scenarios of like, hey, what kind of game do you want to play?
Yeah.
And uh kind of like what Elysium does. And it's like, okay, if you want this kind of game, um then take these potions. They also change up the gameplay a little bit where every time you buy something, it goes onto the top of your deck. So there's no straight to your discard pile stuff, which I know completely changed or sold my friend on this game because I mean Dominion is your traditional deck builder, which I love Dominion by the way. Um, if this game starts pumping out a bunch of expansions, I can definitely see why you would just rather play this. Uh, yeah, and I think this is just the prototype stuff, but they definitely enhance kind of the board and some of the cards on their Kickstarter stuff. But yeah, I was kind of over. Yeah, I've ranked it a 9 because it's like it's really, really good. If you like deck building, this one just does a fantastic job of the potion creation as well as the nice quality of life differences to a deck builder. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much the game. Like has elements. Oh, the tab. I was like tableau building. What? Because there are some potions that you actually play out in front of you that give you special abilities as well instead of just being in your deck. but this one's a really good one to keep your eye out on if you're a huge fan of Dominion, but want a different theme. Chemical Overload.
All right. So my number 17.
And she's super hot. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. Like, you're gonna have that framed up. Anyway.
My 17 is a game that it was a crowdfunding game. I didn't end up backing it. I'll probably pick it up down the road though.
You'll play my copy and you'll
I think you backed this one. I'm pretty sure, but maybe you didn't. It's based on a video game.
maybe not.
And it's called Slay the Spire.
I did not back
Oh.
this.
Yeah, I didn't either 'cause
Because
there's so much weird stuff that you could have backed with it, but
yeah, again, roguelikes play the video game. Like
yeah.
it's like, why would I meticulously set up this game over and over whenever I can just jump straight into the video game? Not
Well, and I
taking
think
anything away from this, but
yeah, I think the reason that because when you play the video game, you only play it solo, right?
yes.
So this one brings in other people. So I'm curious to know what that does when you're
Mhm.
playing with multiple people, you know? And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the things that intrigues me about it. Because it says
Mhm.
best at 2, but you can play up to 4. And I'm like, okay, is that everybody just playing pretty much playing a solo game around the table, or is you all like kind of in the
Yeah.
same boat or what? You know, like I'm just curious to know how it plays. Um, that's why I didn't back it though, because I was like, I'll just try it, you know, somewhere.
Mhm.
And then, you know, if it's awesome, I could always find it. If not, then I lucked out and didn't spend 200 and some dollars on a bunch of cards. You
Yeah,
know,
I wonder, so this picture here kind of shows that whenever you're seeding enemies out for you to deal with, it seems like that this person is dealing with these enemies and that's dealing with this, and maybe you can like play your cards to help others out.
right.
Um, I mean, that could make or break this game. It could be like, oh man, yeah, I love Slay the Spire and it's fantastic co-op. That'd be cool. But for
But
me,
you're
I don't know.
definitely moving as a party though, because that picture that you just had pulled up, like if you scroll down just a little bit, the party marker on that board
Hmm.
to down, if you keep, yeah,
Yeah,
that
this.
party marker right there, it looks like everybody's together.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then
So
like you
you're,
shuffle these tokens, and then they're like, I play roguelikes a lot. Maybe
mhm.
not Slay the Spire a lot because I'm not good at it, but which you think I would be because I play deck builders. Um, but this just feels like it would just kind of start to get really annoying. Uh, yeah, that's why I stayed away from it.
Yeah. And
You
then
never know.
have you played Monster Train?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one too.
Yeah, Monster Train's pretty good.
So anyway, that I just have it on here because I want to try it. I'm intrigued by it. Just to see kind of
I
how
would
it,
like to also try it though.
yeah,
Like if someone was like, "Hey, I have a copy. You want to play it?" I'd be like, "Yes, I would like to try that."
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it at this
All
point.
right.
Yep.
My number 16 is another narrative-driven campaign game. Never going to get all of them played, but we shall see. This is from a company that has made a game that I'm actually not the biggest fan of. But and at this point, I had to kind of like refresh myself on what this game was even about, and that is Aridia: The Paths We Dare Tread. Was this not? I thought this game had a Oh no, never mind. There
Is
was
it
another game.
is this the Zaya
As far as
thing?
I'm pretty sure it's the Zaya people.
Far Off Games?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Zaya. Yeah.
So yeah, open world, campaign based, co-op, fantasy based, Green Legacy role playing game. And it's like, what the fuck is Green Legacy? Apparently, what that's their term for a resettable legacy game.
Hmm.
So packages to open, hidden information, progression, discovery, exploration, but allows you to reset the game when you have completed it. So, but yeah, like in terms of what Zaya does, I mean, it does exploration well. Shipbuilding is really cool. These pictures are like, why are they like the close up of the XP thing? What is that? What is that photo? This does nothing for anyone.
That's a little
Um,
better.
yeah, this is a little bit better. So yeah, you have your miniatures, you have your, let me zoom in. I think these are your storage trays for your character, but like you have a character with obviously different abilities. Looks like it's a cube-based system, which I think Chronicles of Drunicore does too. This board or this uh box here probably contains the story elements of the different chapters, if I had to guess. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't even remember. I watched gameplay of this, or maybe it's a different game called Agemonia, which is also a narrative-driven campaign game. But this one, it's been a while since I played a legacy game that, uh, I mean, just a legacy game because normally that fad seemed to have died pretty quickly, at least in terms of the completely done. Although I guess Ticket to Ride Legacy came out, which apparently was really good.
Apparently,
I didn't even know
my
it was
wife
coming
wants
out.
me to buy it, so I'll probably get it eventually.
Yeah. So open world to explore as you wish, cross the world map, discovering new locations, interacting with memorable characters, combat, weapon skills, cooperation to overcome the challenges. Enemies are controlled by game cards and dice while we work together to defeat them. I mean, to be completely fair, this sounds like your traditional narrative-driven campaign game, but I have kind of high hopes for, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Zaya, I think that they could make a strong campaign game. And it'll be exciting to at least have the elements of a legacy game without having the permanent destruction. So that's my number 16, Aridia, The Paths We Dare Tread. I do like the cover a lot,
Yeah, it looks pretty.
right? I'm gonna go there when I can. All right, what do you got?
All right. My number 16 is a new standalone game in a series of games that I enjoy that you don't.
Okay.
This is the Undaunted 2200 Callisto. Um, it is a futuristic version of Undaunted. It takes place in it's a science fiction setting. You are space based with mechs and all this cool stuff. It uses the same kind of gameplay as Undaunted, but it gets out of the World War II stuff and it goes into futuristic stuff, which is going to be badass, I think.
I think that might do it some favors.
Right. So I mean, get out of the historically based and go into something a little more science fictiony. So that might do some stuff. But what's cool about this is it in the box it has 2-player, 4-player, and solo game modes all together.
Okay.
In there. So I'm curious to see what like the 4-player, runs through and stuff. But so it says there's navigate the barren lunar landscape, maneuver to seize dominant high ground positions, and utilize your formidable mechs to gain control of Callisto and its precious resources. So I can only guess that there's going to be other gameplay elements that the other ones don't have.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of, controlling mechs and all that crazy stuff. And the art looks a little more cool on the box and stuff. I don't think there's any other pictures out there really.
No, I didn't see any
of it, but this one's one that's pretty hot right now. I think Miniature Market says it's being released. They say January or February is the projected release. January to March, somewhere in the first quarter is when it's supposed to be released. So here, so yeah, and it's Osprey Games, so it's going to be a solid production. And so yeah, I mean this is one that I'm looking forward to, is to put in a little more spin onto that game system.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think the sci-fi will open it up. You won't be as restrictive, I
Right.
don't think. All right. My number 15. This is such a unique concept. It's been a couple games that are starting to utilize this theming that you can definitely tell what they're pulling from, but there's no way they're getting the IP, I guess. Uh, and I mean, with I don't really have another segue. This is Robomon.
Robomon
So,
as a Jamaican
right.
robot. Robomon.
Now that's a theme that I'd be interested in. No, it's Pokemon, but they're
Oh,
robots.
this was on your anticipated last year.
Was it?
I think you talked about it because you talked about the robotic Pokemon. I remember.
Yeah. So again, story-driven open world game of robot combat for 1 to 2 players. From what it seems like, you will have like robot companions. There's not really a whole lot of pictures, actually, that you will, yeah, like I mean, come on, like down here, that well, that looks
Yeah.
like that is 100% a Pokemon card. Um, where yeah, they just have different ways of attacking and like different weaknesses and strengths, and this is just super adorable. Um, with the 3D or not 3D terrain, with the terrain and spatial movement elements of just kind of like the turn-based combat. Uh, I wonder if you can like capture these Pokemon, or if you can event Pokemon these Robomon, or eventually to potentially build them and have them in your arsenal.
You would think so. I mean, that's kind of you'd think that would be if they're trying to rip off Pokemon, you'd think that would be there.
Right. But from also what I can tell is they have, yeah, this is where you begin your journey on Cooper Ridge, has this 8-bit art, which I love 8-bit art. But you can go to these different buildings and you open up a storybook, and then that's, hey, here you're kind of like what Tainted Grail does, where it's like, hey, here's where you're at, here's options of what you can do there. You like go into, I'm assuming if you go into, God, that art looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Um, like maybe you can just interact with his chest to get items, go up here, rest, go into Gramps mechanics and interact with that. I'm stoked to see what they do here with this. I think this is a first time designer. Oh my god, it's not. Well, why did I think this was a first time designer? Maybe it felt like that was like their pledge, or their not their pledge, their Kickstarter thing made it seem like it was like the first time they were doing anything. Anyway, let's see. Explore the book of maps and work your way through the adventure book to complete quests, solve puzzles, and defeat gym leaders. Like, earn enough badges to become a fully licensed Robomon Ranger and win the game. Each game session can take 5 minutes or 5 hours, depending on how long you want to play. Uh, yeah, like this is an open world that I think can have a lot of heart and a lot of really interesting gameplay. So I'm stoked
Look at
to
that playing time.
you play for 5 minutes. Ah, this game sucks. Or I feel satisfied. I'm done. Um, 5 to 1,500 minutes. What is that even? Um, like, um, 25
25
hours.
hours.
Why does that seem like not as much? That's interesting. So it could be 5 minutes to 25 hours. Yeah, I
We're gonna
think
play
I'm excited
marathon.
to see how the what.
We're gonna play a marathon, a 24-hour marathon,
Right, yeah.
A Robomon marathon.
That'd be insane. Uh, I'm curious to see how the combat and the gym leaders work, and just how the overall progression feels. So that's my number 15, Robomon.
All right, my number 15, I believe, will probably be on your list at some point.
Robomon,
It was one
Robomon monsters.
I didn't really pay much attention to it when it was on crowdfunding. I didn't end up even backing it, but I'm going to get it when it comes out.
Or
college
play my
retail,
copy.
or play yours, because it is I believe it's competitive. Yeah, I think
Ooh,
it's competitive.
competitive, huh?
Well, it's unconscious mind. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That is not in my top 20,
okay,
but it was my 27.
gotcha.
Um,
So it's one that I just, the more I kind of looked at it and read about it, I was like, this is intriguing enough. I know it's a really stout game, as far as, but the art is awesome. It throws in two of the best board game artists and combines them in one game, because
yeah.
Andrew Bosley and Vincent Dutrait both doing art. It's
Yeah, Vincent Dutrait's probably my favorite board game artist. Andrew Bosley.
He's done a bunch of cool stuff.
Oh,
Like he's
Everdell.
yeah. So the way I
Guys.
picture it, I think Vincent Dutrait probably did the guy laying on the couch, and the stuff in the foreground or the background was
100%.
probably at Bosley.
Dude, that just this fucking cover, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
this is just one. Johnny Pack, he's a good designer.
Mm,
It's kind of like a super team of a lot of different
yeah.
aspects. So I want to definitely try this out. Um,
I
I
love the
think it's
theme.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's unique, and it's just got a lot of cool aspects. I think that might serve to be a top notch game. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Ian O'Toole is another artist that
mhm.
knocks it out of the park too. But yeah, this is just going to be kind of like, yeah, your real world scenario of the worker placement aspect on top of that, like this Dixit style art. Whoa. Well, it's okay. Well, here we go. We're really going to get to see it. Uh,
That's Vincent
but
Dutrait.
yeah,
You can kind of pick which one's Vincent Dutrait, which ones, and
yeah. I mean, it's almost that's how you know you're a good artist is when you can immediately tell who the artist is from their thing. Now, it's just going to be such a cool theme. But yeah, as far as I can tell from the gameplay I've seen, it does seem like it's going to be a heavier game, which is fine.
oh
And
yeah,
Fantasia Games is the guys that did Endless Winter. And
right,
I guess
and
they're doing the Coliseum remake.
yeah, that'll be pretty neat, I think. Yeah, because Endless Went, I was very tempted because I went to the late pledge for this game because you could get all the Endless Winter. You could get the full
Oh,
Kickstarter pledge for Endless Winter as an add-on, and I
you
almost just
should
got
add
them
it.
both,
You
but
should have.
I know. I
Endless
think
Endless
they'll come
Winter
out with
solo mode is
they'll
top
come out with
notch,
Endless Winter. There'll be another Kickstarter that they'll do like a second printing and
probably.
stuff, knowing them.
Um,
So
but yeah, and the way they handled Endless Winter with like kind of like how they segmented all the expansions off, but still had a really good storage solution. I think they'll handle Unconscious Mind really well.
yep.
So,
So that's
yep,
my
this was
whatever number 15.
15. My number 14 makes me sad because I've been talking about it for fucking years. Like Dawn of Madness. This is last year. Last year I'm anticipating it because if it doesn't come out in 2024, like come on. They actually were going on Kickstarter for another game, some arena battle celestial game, and they got a ton of shit where they canceled it because it's like
Yep.
you haven't even delivered the Deep Madness reprint. You haven't even delivered Dawn of Madness, and you're going on for another Kickstarter. Like, fuck off. And it's like that is fair, but story-driven cooperative game of survival horror. I love Deep Madness, and this company has been at Gen Con every year showcasing the game and stuff. So it's like, unless they really just like edging everyone, it's like it. I think they wouldn't go to a public event where they can get potentially murdered if they didn't have the game already like in the
Right.
works, like almost done. As far as I can tell, they are almost done with this small team of writers, but yeah, the amount of writing that I have seen for each individual character is a lot. So I definitely kind of don't blame them. Um, but yeah, at this point, I think it's been going on for quite some time. Yeah, standalone, unique, and terrifying game experience. Their horror for Deep Madness is awesome. Assume the role of a wanderer trapped in a feverish hellscape. Yeah, I don't even so there it is choice based story for each of the characters. Like, so each character has their own storybook instead of just one generic storybook. As you deal with the horrors that the game is bringing, as far as I can tell, this isn't as realistic. I mean, realistic in the sense that like Deep Madness was you were physically on a underwater station dealing with these horrors. I think this is a lot more in the mind.
Right.
But it's been so long, I don't remember. I don't really remember what the actual gameplay is.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. I'm still excited because I love the theme and I think they nail, like, this cover looks awesome. They nail horror super well. This gives me kind of an Evil Within vibe, but hopefully it's better than that video game. Yeah, so no idea. I'm actually amazed that this game doesn't have like some tank score for how long it's been out or been played.
It's true.
So here's hoping 2024 is the year they deliver something. Oh, here we go. Harkening back to the survival, like Silent Hill, Evil Within, and Alan Wake. There you go.
Yeah.
Mind-bending psychological experience unlike any other attempted in a board game.
Alan Wake is awesome. I like Alan Wake.
I really want to try the first and second one. Evil Within, I do not like, but Silent Hill, I want to try I want to play the remake too.
Yeah, Alan Wake, I played the first one. The second one I just bought on Xbox because it's only digital,
Okay.
right now, so I haven't played that one yet.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it was in contention for Game of the Year. I was surprised.
Yeah.
So a lot of the big shoes to fill here. They keep just talking about the horror. We shall see. So that's Dawn of Madness.
All right. Well, my number 14 again might be on your list. And that's Hero Realms Dungeons.
That was actually at the very bottom. It was in the running, but
and it's pretty much just on there mainly because I like the direction they go with this with the little campaign deals, and this one's just more of the same. It just adds a 12 encounter dungeon campaign, and stuff, and there's the different character packs and adventure decks, so you can kind of mix it up a little more. It should be before long. It's what's going to end up happening, I think, is it and Endbringer is probably going to start delivering about the same time because they were getting the final. They're getting ready to. They hit the print button for Endbringer finally. So
thank God.
So anyway, yeah, Hero Realms Dungeons. Like I said, if you like their other campaign things, this is just going to be more of that with a little bit of a twist. I think that with this 12 encounter dungeon, I think it's going to be a little different than those other campaigns because those were just like really small. You know, what was it? Maybe 5 or 6 scenario campaigns. But this having 12 encounter dungeon campaign, it's going to be a little bit more to this one, bigger box.
Yeah, this one, like I said, it was still in consideration, but it being like at the very bottom of the list. I think I just hate how they run their Kickstarters.
Yeah,
they're so all over the place. You have no idea what you're getting, if you're getting everything, if you're trying to get everything. It's a mess.
Like, yeah, because they try to put all these little divider add-ons and this add-ons and these promo packs. It's like I don't know if that comes with that or not, or if I've got it in another pledge.
Yeah.
Deal. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, as far as I can tell, though, doesn't their stuff go to their store?
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, or if they have another Kickstarter, you can get it. But still, like this one was kind of a pain. But still, like I'm excited, just not as excited as you are apparently. Jeez. All right, my number 13 definitely is higher on your list. There's no way it's not. and that is Imperium Horizons.
That's my number 3.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I figured I'd just go ahead and say it if we have crossovers. This way we can.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's not a
That's
deal.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my number 3 because I've been waiting for this one for quite a while.
At least a year when we heard about it. Yeah, you mentioned Osprey Games. Imperium is fantastic with their classic and legends, and then this one has 14 radically asymmetric civilizations.
Civilizations. Yeah.
Standalone game that has I don't even know any of these. The Abbasid, Oskumite, Cultist. Oh, cool. Yeah. Gupta, Inuit. Okay. Oh, I know Inuit in
Martian?
Japanese. Inuit. Oh yeah, I think they did go a little bit weird with it.
The Martians. the
Magyar,
Mayans.
Martian, Mayan, Polynesian, Sassanid, Tano, Tang, and Wagadu civilizations.
Interesting.
Yeah, fully compatible with classics and legends, so you just now have an insane amount of, what was that, 30 civilizations now, because there's 8 in each.
16. Yeah, I think that's right.
So
Yep.
very excited for this one.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that. Just more civilizations, and I'm excited to see what the Cultist and the Martian.
Yeah, I know. The cultist is probably going to be like Cthulhu based, like Cthulhu
bet.
cultists and stuff like that. Probably
Are these like boards that they have?
looks like it, doesn't it?
Huh.
Oh my.
And there might be more to this than just the cards. So we shall see. Damn, I was hoping to just pop right to the Cultists. Ooh, the Abbasids. That's neat. Yeah, so that's my 13.
Yeah.
Imperium Horizons.
And my number 3.
And your number 3.
All right, my number 13 is kind of a combo because the Kickstarter ran them both at the same time. So it's Dice Throne, X-Men, and the missions. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Dice Throne, X-Men, and missions. Mainly the missions is probably the thing that excites me the most, just because the X-Men is just more of the same with the other stuff. The missions is what changes it up. Because it allows you, it's kind of like the adventures that came with the other one, but it adds more. There's like missions and all these different things you're trying to do, and the villains in there. It just seems like it's more solo based more than the adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Like they said in one of their things that this was more of a solo focused deal, expansion for it, even though it's cooperative. And I don't think it's too new to have a thing on there, but there's your map. You're going to move around. You're trying to do all these different missions. It's supposed to be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of doing your thing. I mean, at this point, I'm backing the Dice Throne stuff because I'm a completionist. I've played a lot of it and I like it. I still like it. I mean, it's good. It's just I haven't played as much as you have.
Well, I've only played as much because I'm an idiot. So,
but
I still like this game if I didn't do that.
But the missions, I think you should try the missions. We could try it at some point, just to try it and see what it's like, since it's cooperative. And
oh yeah, we'll do a tournament for the X-Men stuff, and I'll be miserable. I'll be like, man, maybe it is fun. Roll, I'm over it. But I do want to try the mission, see how that works.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty neat. They put a lot of work into it, so that's the one I'm looking forward to of the two for sure.
All right, coolio. My number 12 probably is your number 1.
Oh, really?
That would be my only guess at your number 1. And it's the expansion we've been waiting years for, and that is Cthulhu Death May Die. Fear whatever. Fear of the Unknown.
That's my number 2.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So you knocked my 3 and my 2 out so far.
Yeah, I'm knocking it out of the park. Yeah, I mean, more content for Cthulhu Death May Die, with just, I mean, it's just more content. Season 3, we've been clamoring for season 3 forever. I finally was able to hop on there and get all the stuff at a reasonable price, so no more price gouging. This is one of the most unique Lovecraftian games that's out there. One thing I was hoping for was like a map pack where they like increase the size of the map tiles. I don't know why they went. I still will never understand why they designed it that way. But 6 new episodes and 2 new elder bosses on top of the extra stuff that they unlocked through their Kickstarter campaign.
Because didn't they was season 4 and part of this too? I think there was this was season 3, and I think they did a season 4 inside of it too, I believe. I may be wrong, but
they did season 4 expansion. Yep.
yeah. So I think that you're getting just as much as the first Kickstarter now.
Yep.
And I know you did the same thing I did. You got the big Cthulhu coming.
I certainly did. We're gonna.
So-
I'm gonna have that in Galactus fight. Who would win, Cthulhu or Galactus? It's Galactus.
Probably
It's
Galactus.
Yeah.
He's a world leader.
Yeah. I guess technically, doesn't Cthulhu? No, Cthulhu doesn't devour worlds. Anyway, yeah, it's just a shit ton of extra stuff. Very excited for everything because Cthulhu Death May Die is amazing.
Yeah,
So,
it's
and at least,
it's-
I mean, as far as I can, Simon's pretty good about their delivery.
Mhm.
So they got that going for them. So that's my number 12.
That's
What's your number
I'm
2?
super waiting on that. Yeah, being the number 2. It's one of my top probably 5 game or in my top 5 all time. So it's definitely a great one. Okay, so that was your.
I mean, and that just adds for fucking more story and
Oh, I know.
Elder
All
God
those,
creations. Yeah,
all
that's
those
such a
chapters
brilliant
and
design.
episodes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
The combinations just
Yeah.
become endless at
and the
that
amount of
point.
heroes. Like, yeah, I can't wait.
All right, my number 12 is a standalone / expansion for another Kickstarter I backed few years ago. And this one just adds more stuff to it, more characters. And it's Ascension Tactics Inferno.
I almost went in on this one, but unfortunately, you let me borrow Ascension Tactics again. I just never got a chance to play it, so
yeah.
didn't
So
hop
this
on
one's
this.
more of the same stuff. I mean, it has several different ways to play it. You can play it cooperatively, competitively, in teams, solo. You know, there's a campaign. But it just adds more crap. I mean, it's the same style of game. I think they just went with a little more of the Fallen as a faction kind of things. There's more like hell stuff and everything. But if you like Ascension, the deck building game, this brings those characters to life. You get to actually play with models of the characters, and you build your teams, and it's just one of those. It's just most of the time the battles are area control based, like or location control is what a lot of it is. But yeah, I mean, this is. I really enjoy the Ascension deck building game, so being able to play this stuff this way is just really cool to see the size disparity, because there's so many cool miniatures. Because you could get this with the standees or the miniatures. I've always got it with the miniatures because they're badass. But yeah, this will just be another cool one. And I'm hoping, because the drawback with the first one was there was only a couple of the big book of scenarios and map layouts. There was only like 2 or 3 that were solo.
Yeah.
or cooperative. The rest of them were like teams or the competitive. From what I understand, when this campaign was going, they're going to throw a lot more into the solo and cooperative, try to make it more equal.
Cool.
So which is
Yeah, that'll be nice.
plus for me for sure.
Yeah.
And there's also quests. That's something new with this one. They've added each player is given a quest to complete during the game. And then once you complete it, it transforms to a powerful construct that can be equipped to your champions. So that kind of adds that in there
Oh,
too.
I see.
So that'll be kind of neat. So anyway, that would be my number 12.
All righty. Good deal. All right. My number 11 is actually a crossover as well. We already talked about it, and that is Dark Quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a theme that is barely touched on. I'm very excited. I'm intrigued if what they said with it being a lot more adult, kind of it being around the voodoo style detective era feeling. I think it's going to be pretty badass. I was also hesitant like you with Lucky Duck and it being like Destinies, but once it was fully cooperative, I'm like sold because the competitive Destiny thing was super annoying and stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this and with Van Ryder being brought in after Detective City of Angels being amazing, I think this one's going to be really awesome. I don't think it is a campaign though. Oh, yep, I lied. It literally says through multi-scenario campaigns. Critical decisions that will not only affect their characters but change the direction and course of the story. I am all for that. So this should be incredibly immersive with the Lucky Duck app as well. Hopefully it has voice acting too. Because I'll
Yeah,
be very
we'll see.
sad if it's all done through the app, but the story is not voice acted. So we'll see. That's my number 11, The Dark Quarter.
All right. My number 11, I'm going to guess is higher on your list. Because this will be my first Awaken Realms Kickstarter that I actually backed and went all in on. And that is Dragon Eclipse. Yep.
I'm already pulling up. This is my number 2.
Yeah. This one just looks really cool. Like I know there's not a lot of pictures right there, but the box art is just really neat.
I'm not a huge fan of the name.
No,
I don't
I'm not
really
either.
like Dragon Eclipse for what it's about, but yeah.
But this is another one, they kind of talk about it being like a Pokemon kind of
This one feels more Pokemon than the Robomon does.
right, because you're capturing creatures and stuff like that. And
look at these. Those are insanely painted. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean there are so many mystical creatures. The card art's awesome. There's just a really neat stuff because you catch the creatures, you tame them, you train them.
I think they even evolve.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I mean, this is another one of those that kind of treads that line, but the miniatures look really cool, like even unpainted, and
has the tactical
dragons.
Combat.
Yeah, the dragons that are in there are really neat looking, and
I mean, on top of it, also being story driven, like going to various locations and using your creatures to help you interact with certain locations. Yeah. Oh, I don't know who this designer is though.
And being best at one was also another selling point. Just
Oh, I guess it's only 1 to 2 players anyway. So
right.
Which I always do campaigns that typically I always want to do at least at 2 just to have that interaction of sharing the story with someone. But yeah, this one would have been my number 1, but my number 1 is what it is. So yeah, I'm equally as excited for this. But weird, yeah, the 2 games coming out hopefully next year are Pokemon adjacent.
Right. Right.
You'd feel like that would come out sooner with that being such a popular franchise, but the story building, the fact that you have criteria to be able to capture them and then have them in your
Hmm.
repertoire to engage and help fight. I'm intrigued to see where this goes,
Yep.
and I went all in on it, of course.
Yeah, me too. I didn't do the I didn't get them what do they call that?
Oh,
The
Sundrop.
I didn't do Sundrop, but just because
I don't know if I did either.
maybe I did. Shit, I can't remember what I
I
backed.
usually try to because Sundrop is really good,
Yeah, I can't
but
remember if I did or not. Yeah, I know it was getting up there. It was getting expensive. So that's why I don't know
yeah,
if I ended up doing it or not.
their games kind of start to get expensive. But yeah, this one is my number 2. So
Yeah. All
all
right.
right, my number 10, top 10, baby. My number 10 is a game that was actually canceled initially. I don't know. I can't remember what happened, but eventually went back on and not canceled this time. So I'm very excited because this is extremely reminiscent of a really good video game, and that is Leviathan Wilds. So Leviathan Wilds reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but
I can see
with
that.
right. But yeah, it's like I think it's cooperative if I'm not mistaken. When it will, um, it does not say immediately. But different scenarios. I guess in a campaign mode, but I don't. I think you could just pick a monster you want to climb. But yeah, you're trying to utilize various actions and cards to be able for their action points or their abilities to be able to climb up on these different beasts that will have different ways that they interact with you um, to be able to break down these dice. Really gives off Shadow of the Colossus vibes of getting to weak points, breaking them down. Although you're trying to rescue these creatures, not kill them.
Right.
I think this is just gonna be a super fun one. No idea how the campaign, if it actually has story elements to it, but I like the fact that the monsters will have different ways that they play and engage with you. I think the puzzle element and action economy will be done really well, and I'm really glad this game came back because I was kind of bummed that it was canceled. But here it is, and yeah, you'll have a different type of climber with different abilities than everyone else, so you'll be able to handle certain things different than your. I'm pretty sure this is cooperative than your teammates. So yeah, we we shall see. But from the gameplay that I've seen on this game, I think it's going to be done really well. Yeah, the Leviathan has its own deck of cards, which triggers various effects. So, and I think it said there are 20 yeah, 20 included scenarios.
Nice.
Um, so that's a pretty decent amount of content for a game like this, and from a publisher I've never heard of because they've never made anything. So first time publishing from a designer I've never heard of. Well, he's involved in
Oh,
a bunch of stuff
Imperial
here.
Assault.
Yeah, he's involved in some
So
stuff, but
he was a Fantasy Flight guy. It looked like maybe
it looks
some of
like
those
it. Lead
games.
designer of Leviathan Wilds and one of the founders of Mooncrab Games, former designer of Z-Man and FFG for 9 years. Wow.
Yeah, there you go. So he has a little experience.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a very fun game that's different from a lot of others.
Right.
So that's my number 10.
All right. So I'm putting my number 10 on this list. This is the last time I'm putting it on this list. It is coming out this year, so I won't have to put it next year. Um, and I brought it up earlier when we were chatting, and that's Sorcerer Endbringer.
Ah, yeah, this is not on my list actually at all.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's just been like just such a mess.
Yeah, it's finally coming out though, and so I'm hoping that because I haven't played Sorcerer in quite a while. Um,
I
and
have actually.
yeah, and I'm ready for a nice cooperative solo version of it to be able to take
Yeah.
on, the big bad. Plus, you get to play as Seth, the mystical cowboy.
Dude, it's such a cool concept. It's his bullets are souls. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So I put it up here because I've been super pumped for this. It's been taking forever, but I'm hoping it's at least
Yeah.
sort of worth the wait.
Yeah. So last time I played Sorcerer, the card play is done so well, but that combat
Yeah.
like almost kills it, honestly. When you're really into the card play and you want it to be done so well, and then you just roll dice, God. So
So hopefully this
yeah.
Endbringer can beat all that since,
Mm-hmm.
it's not competitive. So then you're just working against the deal. That's why I'm
Yeah.
kind of hoping this saves it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I
So
mean this should be on here because I like Sorcerer, but man, with it just being such a mess of a campaign that I'm like, you know what, I'm not even gonna talk about it anymore. But I'm glad you have it here because everything else about Sorcerer is great, except
yeah.
its initial combat resolution is really, really bad.
Yep. So we'll see. It should probably be here in about 3-4 months, probably. I would assume since they started their printing process a couple weeks ago. So it's just
Yeah,
getting all boxed up and
that sounds
shit
about right.
going. So
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. My number 9 is a sequel to a series of games that I thought episodes 1 and 2 were really good. So them continuing that with episodes 3 and 4 are going to be probably just as good, and as Perseverance. Castaway Chronicles. You haven't played this? No, you haven't played any Mind Clash game.
nope.
Um, so Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles episodes 1 and 2 were partnered together, which very weird design or not design, publishing decision to not separate them. No idea why they've done that. I think it's purely for storytelling purposes. But they each kind of bring their own elements to the episodes, and they're somewhat connected, but not really in any kind of narrative, meaningful way, just in kind of their gameplay. Episode 3 looks like you're finally safe from the dinosaur attack, and you've grown into a bustling city. You've discovered how to tame and ride the dinosaurs. As their primary action, you may now send a dino rider into the far reaches of the island. Interesting. Oh, and episode 4 brings the story to an epic conclusion as you faced off against the ancients, a mysterious race that once ruled the island. So I have absolutely no idea how the game is going to be played. I assume it's going to be very similar. Maybe not. I'm hoping it has elements of the original episodes 1 and 2 that you can be like, well, I'm familiar with this, so you can kind of just learn about what's new, but they might be going in a completely different direction because I don't even know. Yeah, okay. If this, yeah, because this doesn't look anything like the episode 1 and 2 board, but it does look like it's still dice based. So yeah, there's the action dice, and yeah, I really like episodes 1 and 2, so I think 3 and 4 are going to be just as good. And yeah, and it's Mind Clash, so they're kind of at the top of Euro games for me, and their production is great. So this is kind of that dinosaur game that I really enjoy, and it does the competitive really well between the two episodes. So I guess this will be done for the Castaway Chronicles.
Sweet. All right. My number 9 is another game that's been on my anticipated list for several times. And it will also be delivering this year because the miniatures are 100% complete and they're just finishing up the other stuff before they start getting it ready. And that is Freedom 5. So, again, this will probably show up summertime, I would assume. But this is one of those that this game better be good, man, because Because I mean, I know you spent a ton on this too, and
Well, I sold my pledge.
oh, you don't have any more?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
No.
Um,
Because I just I mean, I just didn't care anymore, like with
yeah,
how much delayed it was getting. And I think the Sadler brothers had a hand in it, and they kind of tanked with some of their games. So I was like, I have no hope. And the I got kind of superhero fatigue.
yeah. This one is gonna because it still has Richard Lanius attached to it as being designer with this with the Sadlers, but the thing that saves this for me and keeps it on my radar is that Arcane Wonders and Greater Than Games are the companies, so we don't have to worry about Blacklist and that whole shit show.
Yeah.
Um, so with Arcane Wonders and Greater Than Games working together, I just, oh man, I don't know. It just looks really cool. All the pre-painted miniatures for the heroes and bad guys. You're looking at a much more advanced, colorful Defenders of the Realm for all intensive purposes.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what the skeleton of this is based on. And yeah, I mean it's getting close, and I'm ready for it. it's been
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
been a long time.
I'll be excited to try it whenever you get it in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, whenever I sold my pledge, I was like, okay. Like I wasn't like, oh man, maybe I should. It was like, yep, that one is done. I will not have to worry about it.
Yeah,
The
'cause I
launch is gonna
think
be
I
amazing.
I think I went in for I did like the all in.
Hmm.
I don't think I got the play mats though, like you got. Um, so I did the all in cosmetic plus gameplay. So it was
Okay.
like 375. But I didn't get any
Yeah.
mats just because
I think I was getting
yeah,
everything.
you had to play mats, I remember.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, I like the concept of Sentinels of the Multiverse. I like the hero design and stuff. It's just the game was too fiddly. So this was gonna be kind of cool because having the merging of those heroes that I got to know and enjoy along with the Defenders of the Realm stuff, I think it's gonna be a good one, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope. I mean, we we shall see very shortly, hopefully. All right. My number 8 is a game that is actually, surprisingly enough, I think gearing up to be delivered very shortly. Um, that I was kind of surprised whenever I got the email. I was like, oh, I thought you guys weren't even close. But very excited for this, and that is Seventh Citadel. So Seventh Continent is a game I go back and forth on whether or not I want to even keep because I really like the concept of it, but it's such a time sink of a game that you either want to do solo or with one other person at max. This one is an all new cooperative exploration and adventure game. So it's instead of being like a survival game, this one seems to be a lot more story driven, but with the same kind of exploration elements and the card expanding system that Seventh Continent created. Uh Post-apocalyptic medieval fantasy world. You play as a slave gardener who escapes the citadel of Necro-Druid Nina Desir. As the scenario unfolds, your choices for better or worse will lead you inexplorably to the epic finale against the threat. So kind of like the curses in Seventh Citadel, looks like you have a threat that you pick for your scenario. So not quite a massive campaign, but gonna feel very familiar with how Seventh Continent works. But I think again, it's a lot more story driven and um your adventure type of dealing with scenarios, making choices, talking to people. It should have. I'm hoping it has a lot more drive with the story element
Right.
that you kind of know where you're going instead of just kind of like figure it out.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like about Seventh Continent. did not like that at all.
Yeah, it's like, look, having freedom of choice is good. Got to keep some rails. When you can kind of just go wherever and that's not anywhere you need to be, that could be super daunting. So, hoping that this game keeps you on rails, but still having you get the sense of exploration.
Right.
I'll find out shortly because apparently it's on its way.
All right.
Yay!
All right. Well, my number 8, um, there really isn't a whole lot known about this game exactly. But it's Star Wars Unlimited. That's the CCG through
Ah,
Fantasy Flight. Um, what's going to be interesting with this is they're pulling from all over the place of the franchise. They're pulling from the movies, TV, comics, video games, all the stuff. And I don't know, man. It's this is a coin flip because FFG with their LCG stuff did one thing, and they had their collectible card game in Star Wars Destiny, and they blamed that on the dice manufacturing is
okay.
the reason they fell behind with that. So there's no dice in this. This is just cards. So
Yeah.
if that truly was the problem, then they should be able to keep up with demand on this and try to get a competitive scene going. They're putting
Yeah.
a lot of they're putting a lot of faith into it and a lot of resources. So we shall see. I'm going to probably, knowing me with this, I'll probably buy the starter and I'll probably buy 2 booster boxes right off the bat just to get
Hmm.
as much as I can. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a complete toss up with FFG being in control of it. But
Yeah.
even if it's a decent game and they falter, at least if I go and I nab a couple of booster boxes, I can at least have a playable game to play with other people. That's kind of what I've done
Yeah.
with Destiny. I have tons of Star Wars Destiny, and that way I have stuff for people to play. And
First time
everything. But
designer too.
yeah,
This
so
Daniel Shafir or Schaefer seems to be his only
there's
game.
there's I mean, all these companies, they keep trying to put out the next Magic, and nothing ever works. The
No.
Lorcana has the most hype right now. A lot of people have been talking about this, so we shall see. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at right now, and we'll see how, if it takes
When
on.
you
Or
when you get it, I'll give it a shot with you.
yep, yep, sounds like a plan.
All right. My number 7 is a sequel to a game that I finally finished the campaign for, but it's funny because my friend and I, we really like the game, even though I have more issues than he does. And even though like it's this one's gearing to come out definitely next year for sure, we're kind of like still wanting to take a break. And that is Madara Unintentional Malum Act 2. And I believe Act 3 is also coming out around the same time. But yeah, this basically just is a continuation of the story. If you love JRPGs, this is um this is that game. Madara does a lot of things right, a lot of things not so right. Well, not a lot. Some things not so right, but the majority of it is like I think I give Madara um an 8. Did I give? Yeah, an 8. But Act 2, um, the narration and the storytelling of this game, I'm very invested in. So I'm excited to see what Act 2 and Act 3 bring, especially with kind of what I know they're adding in terms of items and characters and bosses. I'm hoping that they just improve upon what Act 1 failed on. Um, to just kind of and then maybe improve Act 1 while they're at it, but this is just obviously adding a shit ton more content. Clearly it's at my number 7 because I like Act 1 so much, and it's just more of that to continue the insane story. But yeah, I mean, this one isn't going to be exciting for anyone if you haven't played Act 1, it's a direct continuation of that. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of content.
Yes,
Lot
it
of
is.
content, but basis for what Madara is all about: storytelling, character growth, and continuity. At least 40 additional hours by extending not only the base game, but also the surrounding optional ways of playing Madara. Oh, no one cares about crawl mode. Yeah. And that seems to be just for Act 2, and I'm pretty sure they're bundling them together. So here's Act 3. I wonder if this, oh, each adventure expansion. So if I get both of them, that's 80 more hours of gameplay, at least.
Right.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking, and that's on top of the fact that Succubus Publishing wants to make this a lifestyle game, so they have a bunch of extra content.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Really excited for the story. So that's my number 7.
All right. My number 7. I'm gonna dip my toe back in this game company's waters again and see if this game sticks. And well, it's The Witcher Path of Destiny. So this one I humbled around about a little bit when it was on GameFound, and I was kind of back and forth on it a little bit, and I had decided I'm just gonna dive, and I went all in on it, because it looks simple enough. It's like it's a tableau building game, and it has the actual characters of that we know from the TV show and the Witcher 3 video game and stuff. So you get to take on the role of any of those, like Geralt, Yennefer, Ciri, Vesemir, Dandelion. You get to put and you're retelling the iconic stories from the saga. So yeah, there's all kinds of cool crap, and the miniatures look really cool. Like, I didn't get the shaded miniatures on this one. You could have gotten shaded miniatures, but it was going to add a lot of money to them. But like when you're playing this game, it's all kind of lined up. Like you have like a line of cards from the looks of it, and you're moving your miniatures through and trying to accomplish certain things. I don't know a ton about it, other than you're running through some of the classic stories of the stuff, and with playing so much of Witcher 3 and stuff like that it's going to be something. It was some of the expansions that come in the all in. There's like the Wild Hunt expansion, so you're going to get to deal with all that, and all this other junk too. So it's one that, I mean, the length of play is only 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
That's nice.
So it's a fairly shorter game. It's not the big complex thing like the old world and stuff like that. So it's just something I want to try out. I mean, I'm a sucker for this era of this IP, with all those characters. So I'm curious to see how it plays, and it looks like it's pretty solid. So that's why I put it on here for this.
I am staying away from this designer forever.
I know, and we can play mine. I mean, we can, whenever I do get it, you can try it.
Yeah.
That way you can see what you think.
Yeah, that'll be nice. All right. My number 6, they are finally closing the pledge manager for this. I think it is officially closed because I think they're ready to either ship or print. This pledge manager was open forever, which is insane. This was one of the games I know was on my list last year because it was a boss battler that I'm very stoked for, and that is Primal the Awakening. So Primal the Awakening, is a boss battler where it basically gives off heavy Monster Hunter vibes. Just with the enemies that you're going to be fighting against, and then the weapons you're wielding. Like, come on, if you're saying this is a Monster Hunter, then you'd be lying. But they went a very minimalistic. I mean, look at those weapons. Like, fighting the enemies, breaking off pieces, gathering ingredients. I think, as far as I can tell, there is actually a campaign to the game, though. Yeah, campaign mode players will choose their path through the story by completing quests and unlocking special rewards. weirdly enough, they don't have any like gameplay pictures, but the combat is done on like a 4-part grid, like a circular 4-part thing, of where you're maneuvering and using terrain to your advantage to attack sections of the enemy or of the monster. I think the gameplay is also done really well with hand management and multi-use cards of various types, to help one another out. I think this is going to be a lot of fun and add to the already competitive or expanding scene of boss battlers. And I know there's a Monster Hunter board game and an expansion to that that's coming out. I don't care about that because it's Steam forged, and I just don't give them a whole lot of leeway anymore. But I think that with this having a settlement phase as well to build build your arsenal, and says focuses on deep character customization, could be pretty neat.
Mhm.
So it's Monster Hunter without it being Monster Hunter. A lot of different monsters that are going to be able to fight. So, yep, that is my number 6, Primal: The Awakening.
Good choice. And that one always looks interesting whenever I see the box cover. Box cover is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, that's a pretty badass cover.
Um,
This
all
guy's
right,
dead. He's super dead. Like there's no way this guy's living.
my number 6 might be on your list still. But it's Final Girl Series 3.
It was my 22.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
there's nothing on here like for Final Girl Series 3.
yeah, it's all the individual stuff.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the game found page, was looking at hits just to hit.
Here we go. Killer from Tomorrow.
Yeah, so there's Killer from Tomorrow and there's Hell to Pay. They've got and the Falconwood Files, the Merrick Murders. It's just more shit. I mean it,
Mm.
and this game is a superb solo only game. They've perfected it after they used Hostage Negotiator as kind of their practice ground, and
Mhm.
then they went on super heavy with this, and they love the Van Ryder Games guys love horror anyway.
Mhm.
So this is just perfect for them. And yeah, I mean, there isn't much more to say. I mean, if you like Final Girl at all, this is just more. And what was
Oh,
really
it's their
cool,
Hellraiser guy.
yeah, there's all kinds of but what's even cooler was, if you did this campaign, uh enough stretch goals were unlocked that you got to get the Krampus version, and you actually got it before Christmas, which is what they
Yeah.
said they would do, and they got it delivered. So that's just kind of a neat little deal. And we got it for like what, $5 plus shipping. So I think
Yeah.
it was like
Well,
15.
technically, I got a copy for free, but
Yeah, that's true.
because Van Ryder got him drawing a blank on his name. Hopefully, he doesn't see this because I'm gonna be an asshole if I totally can't remember his name. But we've been recording all day. He actually is a fan of the channel, and every time I see him at Gen Con, we always talk for quite some time. Uh, he's awesome. Apparently not awesome enough for me to remember his freaking name.
Are you talking about
But
the guy from, because there's it's Evan and AJ. Those are the two.
AJ,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Yes. Yeah, he always talks to me and loves the content for Final Girl because I always do or I've been doing a ranking of like the killers and the locations,
Hmm.
which apparently is helpful for a lot of people because if they can't get all the everything, they get to
Yeah.
pick what box they want. Yeah, and you didn't hear it from me, and technically it's not set in stone, but as far as I got the vibe, there should be a series 4.
They have no doubts. I mean,
Because he's like,
they're making million dollars or more every
right.
time they
Well, he's
three
also like,
packs.
ew, well, because apparently they're supposed to fit 2 to a Calyx section. And he's like,
Hmm.
well, that'd be weird if you only had 1.5 filled. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It was almost on the top 20. So
Yep. Well, there you go. That's my number 6.
cool. My number 5 is I don't think it's gonna be on your list. I don't even know if you've played this game yet, but this is kind of I don't know if it's like a remake or it's definitely a standalone sequel, and that is Black Rose Wars Rebirth.
It's not on my list, but I mean, it's on my short list. Like it
Okay.
did make my 21, but I haven't played the base game yet.
Okay.
But I went all in on this part of it. So
Gotcha. Okay, so I didn't go all in because I guess I don't know what happened. I just wasn't paying attention to all their stuff. So I think they're actually going on GameFound for like a last minute campaign. So I'm hoping I can go in and get stuff for it then, because they're adding so many schools. Black Rose Wars is one of my favorite Magic games. Where you just have so much content of various schools with the programmable abilities or programmable spells. And then I think they have the Four Horsemen stuff with, yeah, Technomancy is a school, Nightmare was a school. There's so much. And I actually have played Black Rose Wars recently at a 3-player game, and it does so well with having every school feel different. So I'm definitely going to have to try and make sure I get all the content for it, because I'm currently not getting it. But luckily, I did reach out to the team and they looked at my pledge and they're like, here's all the stuff you're going to need. So I have a list of that hopefully I can jump in on last minute. Not a huge fan of the publisher just because they are kind of a mess of a company, but they deliver, and I think Rebirth will get delivered next year. So that is that. Very excited because Black Rose Wars is amazing. So that's
All
my
right.
number 5.
Number 5 for me is I had a tough time. My top 5 were really close together, and you've already called my 3 and my 2.
I actually looked at my top 5. I know you're number 1 without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
dude, you're so predictable.
my number 5 is the next. It's the Set a Watch, Forsaken Isles, and Doomed Run. The more I play this game, the more I absolutely adore it.
Really?
Yes, the Forsaken Isles is just is the third set, because they did the original Set of Watch, and there was Swords of a Coin, I believe, was the second one, and then Forsaken Isles. It just adds more characters, more monsters, and stuff like that. The Doomed Run part of it is it turns all of those boxes and makes it into a campaign, and it's a big box storage solution that holds it all as well.
Oh,
So it
okay.
makes this one
Neat.
epic campaign that uses all the content from the first 3 sets, and just holds everything, which is really cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
So, but this game, just for some reason, this game just stings to me the more I play
Okay.
it. And we'll probably see that a lot when we do our top 100, because I've played this a lot, and solo is great. You'll always play with the 4 characters,
Yeah.
And the art, I like the art on the stuff, the choices that you have to make. It's just really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you played. I don't know what you rated it when you played. You borrowed it.
I only played the base game, I think.
Yeah, which it's
And
all pretty much the same. I mean, it's just new characters.
5. Yeah, I didn't care for it.
But man, it's just what I like about the second one, the Swords of a Coin, is it adds gold to it, so you can like purchase things, go to the campground and stuff too. So, but yeah, I mean, this is one of those solo. I play solo more than times. I played it 4-player before, but
Okay.
when you play a game like this 4-player, the way you have to allocate your dice to there's a very strong possibility of a quarterbacking thing with this game.
Yeah.
And one person has to sit out and stay at the campfire each time, So
Hmm.
I prefer it with one, just because then you get to make all your own choices and all that stuff. So anyway, I mean, that's this one I'm super, super excited for. It wasn't a super expensive game and stuff either. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this
I
is
almost went in on this one because I was like, well, maybe my tastes have changed, but I didn't try it since then, so I didn't want to go in and be like, oh, nope, never mind, I was right.
yeah, it's I
So
love this game.
cool,
Super,
cool, cool,
super,
cool.
super good.
All right, my number 4, I am very, very intrigued by because it's another skirmish game of a very popular and successful IP. The company that is publishing it did another IP game, if I'm not mistaken, that is done very well, even though that game is impossible to beat. If you've beaten it, you're lying, you cheated. It's not possible. But this game, maybe I'll be good at because I'm not good at the video game anymore, and that is Apex Legends. So I used to be okay back when this first came out, and obviously I'm trash now. Uh, so Glass Cannon Unplugged is the company that did Frostpunk, and this game is amazing, albeit very, very difficult. But I watched a lot of gameplay on this one, and it seems like it's doing combat really well because it's not dice based. So your guns have a range and they have an accuracy thing that determines kind of where you're at on this accuracy track. I don't know if they have any images. Kind of 3D terrain for the board. I like the way that they have it to where the ring is closing in, your backpack of healing stuff and where you're trying to aim and hit is dependent on you can't really see it here, but they have a track that you start on when you're trying to actually shoot. Man, you would think, here it is. Yeah. So depending on your accuracy, you have this deck that you pull from, but depending on if you're using a shotgun in your close range, you'll actually get modifiers for it, which you'll have like, oh, I need to hit a 50 or let's say 55 to hit, but I'm close range, so I would actually start here on this 5. So this 50, which would initially miss, is now 55, so it hits. What you're like, there we go.
You like zoomed in on that guy's junk.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was looking up a different picture. But then you get like 4 shots off, and then it kind of goes down. So
Yeah.
then you go down this track. So I'm I I was very hesitant on this, but after all the gameplay I saw and with how many characters they've unlocked, I think that Glass Cannon can make a very fun tactical skirmish game. So that is my number 4, Apex Legends.
All right, my number 4 is a game that it's a lucky duck game. And it was one that when I saw, I was like, yeah, you got it. Is this on your list?
It was number 24.
Okay. This was one that intrigued me just because of the look of it and stuff. It's cooperative.
The theme is cool too.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a pretty neat one. And so yeah, you've got it's cooperative and deck construction, hand management, all that good fun stuff. But yeah, it just has that. It has a neat look to it. Like the art's really cool. It's got that realism a little bit as far as stuff. The miniatures are really good looking. I don't know how much. Like I don't know a ton about it. It was one of those I
Seems
just kind
like
of. It has an
obviously
app. Okay, so that's I figured since it had Lucky Duck, but
yeah, only so you're kind of just going along. Yeah, the fact that like the gods were killed So
Mhm.
or you were the ones who killed the gods? I don't know. I just remember it is kind of lucky duck, and if it's fully cooperative, they usually knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
Each hero brings a
you did
different
kill them.
set.
Yeah, you killed the gods.
Okay. Different set of skills, which are represented by dice. So a playing card, which determines play of style for that round. Um,
Yeah, you
yeah.
like yeah, that last paragraph is interesting to me because like you do a plan card because like you could
Mm-hmm.
be more mobile that round or you could hoard for more resources if that's the way you want it, like so it to me it feels like there's going to be a lot of group talk,
Mm-hmm.
to plan ahead and stuff.
Yeah. More puzzle element
Right.
to the game determined by the app. So this looks unique and different. So
Yeah. So yeah. So this was one I'm really looking forward to. Um, it's fantasy too, so that's kind
mm-hmm.
of a plus.
Yep.
So yep, that's my number four.
All right. You ready to talk about your number one?
It depends.
Because my number three is definitely your number one.
Yeah, go for it. See if you're right.
Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era.
That is indeed my number one.
I almost wasn't sure, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. So we've talked about your 3, 2, and 1 now?
Oh yeah, yeah. So you can just finish it off now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, one, I love the fact that this isn't fucking Skyrim
Yes,
again.
yes.
Like, thank God. Chip Theory Games, so they have not actually, well, Hoplomachus Victorum and Hoplomachus I don't really like, but I don't think they're bad games. But Burn Cycle, Cloudspire, Too Many Bones, and now 20 Strong are stellar games. This one I'm very excited to see. Kind of, there's like nothing on it though. I haven't been able to see any kind of gameplay. Wait, they do have gameplay out there, don't they?
They do have somewhere, yes, because
Yeah.
they've done little snippets of it.
Mm-hmm. Um,
All I know is
but
the encounters and battle stuff are based on Too Many Bones stuff,
okay,
is what they've said, like how you
gotcha.
solve stuff.
Yeah, okay. So I'm extremely excited to see how the character building goes in the Elder Scrolls world. My hope for this is really to just have it be kind of like Elder Scrolls Online, that you're just kind of able to go to various locations in the Elder Scrolls universe and stuff. So you could go to Skyrim if you wanted to. You can go to Cyrodiil or Morrowind or things like that. But let's see, each adventure in the game takes place over the course of 3 gameplay sessions. Players customize and control a single hero through all 3 sessions, manage multiple skill lines, classes, and experience the many regions of Tamriel. So I went all in on this one because it's Chip Theory and it's Elder Scrolls. So
Well, it's always free
I
shipping. I mean, that covers $50 of it probably,
that's
all the
true.
weight and stuff.
Yeah. Working with Bethesda and ZeniMax, I think this game is going to be really awesome. I'm very excited. But I'm mainly excited to see how the storytelling is, and 2, the character customization.
Hmm.
Because I mean, if you're saying it's kind of like Too Many Bones, that's done really well, but this should have a lot more freedom than Too Many Bones does.
It looks like it does. I mean, because if you look at gameplay, like I'm on their Game Found page looking at stuff right now, and it's like I could see the battling being similar to Too Many Bones and stuff, but yet the neoprene tiles that make up the world that you go on, they look a
Mm-hmm.
lot like Cloudspire tiles. So it's like,
Okay.
so I mean, it's almost like they're doing a lot of like merging of stuff
Yeah.
because like the tiles do look Cloudspire-ish, like
Okay.
when you make up the maps and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean it's like, yeah, if you click this next picture to the right, yeah, because like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going to be
with the
neoprene-ish,
ring.
and it looks a lot like a Cloud Spire kind of
Mm-hmm.
the way the maps are kind of made up and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's one of those that, I mean, again, it's chip theory. So
Yeah. Just
boy,
have faith in what they're doing. Yeah, I think it's still going to be great.
hell yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
So number three was your
Was Imperium
was
Horizons.
Imperium. Number 2 was
Cthulhu Death May Die.
that's right. And number 1 is this one. So my number 3 is this. My number 2 was Dragon Eclipse. You have any idea what my number 1 is?
It's a Kickstarter. You probably backed.
Yes.
Nah, I don't.
So so this is this company's second game. Looks insane with just the amount of content, but I absolutely love their first game with as much money I've spent on that. And this one is Kingdoms Forlorn. So this is the same company, Into the Unknown, that did Aeon Trespass Odyssey.
Okay.
So can you guess that this might be a narrative-driven campaign
I'm
game?
sure. I'm sure.
like a lot of my games were. Not much is actually known on this. I know it's a dark fantasy world with insane amounts of storytelling. Characters have personal stories. It seems that they also introduce something where like characters will interact with one another. So that is something that would be really cool because you never really see that a whole lot. This is the Egg Knight. Seems like a very bleak world. Not videos, images. But has elements of kind of the story or world exploration that Tainted Grail and Seventh Continent and even Aeon Trespass Odyssey has. You will explore forgotten kingdoms, fight battles with giant monsters and bands of minions, loot, craft, duel, and possibly earn renown and fulfill your heart's desire. Yeah, this is, I mean, pulls inspiration from dark fantasy like Dark Souls, Diablo, and Game of Thrones. Yeah, for their last project, Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I know, right? Let's just ignore that part. Maybe it's the first couple seasons. Yeah, I mean, with the amount of content and how fantastic Aeon Trespass Odyssey is, I have super high hopes for this one. I was actually surprised it said 2024 because I originally thought it was supposed to be 2025. But
yeah, it's hard to say.
So this one is probably pushing it, but if it does come out next year, then I'm gonna be super stoked, and I'll have yet another campaign to just try and trudge into my schedule.
Yep.
But that is that. Those are all the games that we are anticipating for 2024. Let's hope that at least half of them deliver, and then we'll have and they're all good. So then we'll have our top 10 of the year.
Right.
Yeah. Here's to a fantastic year of gaming, and let us know what games you're excited for in the comments below, and let us know what you think of these games. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.